very good afternoon to you, tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to UBC National News this Monday, the 17th of January, 2022. It's me, Michael Jordan Lukomwa. There is a heavy deployment downtown Kampala to effect the Smart Kampala operation, which targets having all vendors off Kampala streets. Police and the UPDF officers have been seen lining up alongside the streets. Vendors have expressed discomfort with the deployment.
Tasulira bada nina permiti nina license zikirizibwa kubanga nkolera mu kibuga kyokanga bakutte kioski ne bangamba permiti zenyina nchamu kutegeera ate nga zava mu ofisi zaabwe permiti buli kimu nga kiri kiriya kyokka kati bano oyogera n'omu ate omulala n'aleeta odde endala situmanyi lwaki ffe ng'abantu tulina buzibu bwonna lwakuba tuba tuyise mu mateeka okufuna buli kimu kye twetaaga so kati baba baagala gogoola ekibuga bandisose gogoola ofiisi ezikola ebyekisibu nga si ofiisi kugamba nti bakole ki tubawe sente zaffe za pamiti emitwalo 6 buli kiyosiki then ate oteekeko trading license emitwalo 15 ate aleete ekimotoka nti atwala butwazi ate nga n'ebipapula biraba biva mu ofiisi ye sekera.
Vendors expressing their discomfort about the deployment downtown Kampala. Lawyer Hassan Male Mabilizi has filed a suit in the High Court Civil Division challenging the Director of Public Prosecution Office, that's the DPP office as commonly known, from taking over the case he filed against City Pastor Aloysius Bujingo and his wife Susan Makula Nantaba. According to Mabilizi, since the DPP's office of recent indicated to court of losing interest in this matter, now for it claiming to take over the same matter, it's illegal. Mabilizi wants the High Court to quash the DPP's prayers and Entebbe Magistrates Court not to admit the request until the final decision from the High Court. In this case, Mabilizi is accusing Pastor Aloysius Bujingo and his wife Susan Makula with offences with three counts of contracting marriage by customary law when already married, when already marriage with a person previously, and getting into a marriage with a person previously legally married. In more news, Ministry of Education and in partnership with Plan International Uganda held a caregivers and community refinement workshop on development of content to be used by teachers in as far as learning through play is concerned. The Commissioner Basic Education, Dr. Cleophas Mugenyi, says that this aims at making sure that children between the age of 3 to 12 express themselves well through play. The 5 days workshop was held in Jinja.
Schools have reopened after a period of 2 years of closure due to COVID-19 in what is currently stands as the world's longest closure of the education sector. However, according to the Commissioner, Basic Education, Dr. Cleophas Mugenyi, some schools face challenges of low turn-up and inadequate preparation.
In some of the schools I visited, we found when the general cleaning was still taking place. In some of the schools, they did not have money, so they did not have temperature guns.
Dr. Cleophas says Ministry of Education, in partnership with Plan International Uganda, has come up with an implementation plan to help learners through playing to enable them develop more skills.
It helps the learners' well-being. It promotes peer-to-peer learning, and more importantly, it also assists the teachers to interact with the learners freely.
It has come at the right time when even some of our learners are stressed. They need to really play, they need to refresh their minds.
For now, they are still developing content that teachers will use in as far as learning through play is concerned. William Ejoyi from Plan International Uganda says the approach is to ensure the educators and the system actors are able to bring the children and allow them express themselves through play.
When we talk about play, learning through play, it's not a matter of going to give footballs, netballs, maybe tennis balls to the children. We are looking at, are there ways in which the teachers can make learning enjoyable.
He encourages teachers and parents to go an extra mile and see how to engage the children to learn as they play.
So there are different approaches that teachers and the parents are supposed to use to make sure that the children are not only being taught in classroom, but taught in class with different variety ways of engagement.
We thank you so much for watching. Let's take a very short break. On return, do not miss what we have.
Pay school fees conveniently using MTN Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Enter the student code provided by the school. It will show you the student name and the class plus outstanding balance. Enter the amount you want to pay. Enter PIN. You will get a notification confirming payment. It's simple, secure, and convenient.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay, FlexiPay, or Bridge Schools. To pay school fees using Airtel Money for Bridge Schools, dial *185#. Select option 6, School Fees. Select option 1, Bridge Schools. Enter pupil ID. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Mohamed Salah, Naby Keita, Kalidou Koulibaly, Sadio Mane, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. When you hear these names, you may think you're probably watching the English Premier League or UEFA Champions League, but it's none of those. It's the 2021 Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations from 9th January to February 6, 2022. All these global elite football stars will be in Cameroon to grace the continent's most prestigious sporting event. 52 games, 24 countries, 1 continent, 1 trophy, 1 station, live, free and exclusive to your public broadcaster. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs.
I'm Sendika Duamati, a student of Chambogo University. I've been a lucky winner of 10 million Ugandan shillings, and I'm really excited as I'm ending this year with all that lots of money. Guys, it's real. Just dial *185#.
The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Patriotism is a feeling of love, devotion, and the willingness to sacrifice for one's country.
I say no to corruption because I put my country first. I choose peace over violence because I put my country first.
I love Uganda. I serve Uganda. I sacrifice for Uganda. I'm loyal to Uganda. I love myself.
Be patriotic. Uganda first. This message is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Co-Uganda, Office of the President.
Pay school fees conveniently using MTN Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Enter the student code provided by the school. It will show you the student name and the class plus outstanding balance. Enter the amount you want to pay. Enter PIN. You will get a notification confirming payment. It's simple, secure, and convenient.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. It's UBC Lunchtime News. A poll conducted by The Guardian UK in August 2029 indicated that 40% of over 4,000 bloggers aged between 17 to 45 years randomly selected from across the country were found to be victims of online cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is the use of digital technology to harass, threaten, embarrass, or target any other person on social media platforms, gaming platforms, or mobile phones.
Cyber harassment is a vice tool used to fight against opponent, mainly in a political contest, business rivalry, as a result of fallout between some personalities, and so on.
Precisely, cyber law entails the body of those governing use of computers and computer networks. When you talk of computers, of course, we refer to these laptops, desktop computers, even our phones are computers.
A former Makerere University lecturer and women rights activist, Dr. Stella Nyanzi, was a few years ago found guilty of offensive communication and cyber harassment and handed a jail sentence of 18 months. Stella Nyanzi was arrested in April 2017 over insulting the President of the Republic of Uganda and the members of the First Family through her social media platforms. A victim of cyber harassment, Jacobo Mtuze narrates, in 2021, he was attacked and bullied along with members of his family by some individuals associated with the political camp who opposed him, he leaving him lamenting.
Ekisinde kibayita people power. Omukazi yavaayo n'avuma omwana wange nga nasiga omwana wange sirimu nga namulepinga nga namufundisa olubuto omwana wange najja ewaka kubanga yabisanga mu WhatsApp group y'essomero nanga badaddi since then diwe twakola sex naawe nawulira nga nfa nenkwata live yange nengoyinga live ku page yange nembabuuza omwana wa Bobi Wine mwana wange si mwana omwana wa Bobi Wine ye akirizibwa okubanga yita bamukwatako owanga akirizibwa okukwatibwako. I was defending my daughter by then. Wotuka ku app gye beta TikTok. Omwana akola video n'akwata ekifaananyi kyo n'akuvumanga ekifaananyi kyo kiri awo. Nenga teri muntu amukwatako.
Prosna Juka is another living testimonial of cyber harassment. She says that one of her opponents, using her Facebook handle, used it in a very violation way to offend her.
That happened so much during my campaigning periods and even way before on my Facebook page. You know, the moment you post, you post any activity, especially those ones who are not in your support, will definitely throw some insulting statements. And besides that, I've told you it was twice, way before I started joining the leadership trade or activities. As women, we are also affected, especially when it comes to sexual. You might find that a person will use that platform or that kind of way of either teasing or inflicting on your, feelings, and trying to provoke you in some way which might not be, as a person, I might not be interested.
Najuka states that she didn't know that it was a violation of one's right when someone uses a media platform to abuse, criticize, incite, harass, threaten, and others.
We don't know that if a person abuses you, they are infringing on my right. Being free of social bullying and all that, we do know that it is a right, not to be abused, not.
However, Cyberbullying Act is clearly stipulates penalties for offenders and steps to be taken by victims in case of being found guilty. One-on-one interacting with the ASP, Kampala Metropolitan Police Force Deputy Spokesperson Lukomwa says some Ugandans may not know the Cyber and Computer Misuse Act, and besides, victims often lose interest due to challenges associated with handling cyber crimes, including delaying of tactics.
These offences fall under the Computer Misuse Act. And if someone used an electronic gadget poorly by communicating offensively or harassing someone, it needs us to collect the evidence by using those objects that were used in communication. But in most cases, a lot of people will always prefer not to go on with these cases if they are opened up, or you find a complainant and the suspect handling these issues out of court at the end of the day.
Owesjile also adds that the law prescribes penalties to offenders, namely, upon conviction, the offender is liable to a fine not exceeding 240 currency points, equivalent to 20,000 Uganda shillings, or imprisonment not exceeding 10 years, or both.
The punishments range from being imprisoned for 7 years, they are all paying fines close to 72 currency points. A currency point is equivalent to 20,000 Ugandan shillings.
Chances are high that with the increased public awareness and associated literacy levels, cyber harassment will be understood and accordingly addressed by the relevant laws. Many have been found victims of cyber harassment, using their social media platforms to criticize, provoke, incite, threaten, harass other people on their human rights. But the question is, what has the government done to make sure that it can overcome this challenge? John and Diva Intumwebaze, UBC Tonight.
UBC Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for watching, and that is all we had for you in the business area. Many people are misusing the internet and such platforms for business, but again others infiltrate the opportunities to attack, insult, and do bad things. Thank you so much for watching. Let's return with international news. It's UBC Lunchtime News. Yes, we thank you so much for watching. We now go international. The ousted president of Mali, Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, has died at the age of 78 at his home in the capital, Bamako. Family and former colleagues have said 2 years ago he suffered a minor stroke, but the cause of his death on Sunday was not immediately clear. Keïta led Mali for 7 years until 2020, when he was ousted in a coup after huge anti-government protests over his handling of jihadist unrest. An economic crisis and disputed elections also fueled the demonstrations against his rule. Keïta was involved in politics for more than 3 decades, serving as a socialist prime minister from 1994 to 2000. Born to a civil servant father in the southern city of Kotiala, He went on to study literature, history and international relations in Paris. He lived and worked in France for decades, including teaching at the University of Paris before returning to Mali in 1980, at first working as an advisor to the European Development Fund. He is remembered variously as generous, irascible and divisive figure by his entourage. Mali has been in the grip of security and political crisis since the outbreak of independence and jihadist insurgencies in 2020. Uganda Dance Sport Federation used the 2 COVID-19 years to firmly establish itself with participation at the World Break Championship last year in France, the highlight. Players like Ronald Ndaura, Ibrahim Kaida ably represented at the championship, at which Uganda finished a decent 38th of 113 countries. The 4-year-old federation now plans better this year, as explained by its General Secretary Barnabas Sebuyungo.
Right now we are embarking to make sure that we prepare our athletes for the World Games, which are going to be in Birmingham. Today move, yeah. After the World Breaking for God Championship that happened in France, this year we are embarking on our calendar to make sure that we prepare athletes that will be representing us in the World Games, which are going to be in Birmingham, in Alabama State, USA, from 7th to 17th July. We have the Red Bull Championship for breakdance and hip hop. Red Bull Dance Your Style. We know the championships will be in Boston, USA, but we are going to have our nationals in May. We have our media clinic, which we are mobilizing now to mobilize and also train and create awareness to our journalists on how to report the basics and the techniques of dance sport in terms of reporting. So that our clinic is going to be facilitated by our IOC department under the world body of World Dance Sport Federation, since now breaking is a sport in Olympic Games Camp Paris 2024. We also have the World Para Games in dance sport. We have Para Dance, and we are going to send our 2 participants to represent us in the World Para Games. That will be there in April 20 this year, and it's going to be in Holland. So as a federation, we are embarking on that. So we have invited journalists for a media clinic. We are going to have a judging course for our coaches to take them through the judging criteria, especially that one of the folding and travarium system. It's a tablet used in judging and the awarding results to the athletes or to the break dancers, all B-boys or B-girls. So that's our calendar right now as a federation, as we are preparing for also for the national secondary school dance sport competitions that will come in May, and also the primary as it was listed in the ministry calendar.
A new sport there called dance sport. Sports Club Villa, in other news, the Vice President in charge of funds and mobilization, Ben Emmanuel Misaga, started his call of duty. His first stop was in Jinja at Main Street Primary School, as told in this one by John Barnes Centum.
The journey to resuscitate Villa Fans base has officially started with a stopover at Main Street Primary School in Jinja. Villa Vice President in charge of funds and mobilization, Ben Misaga, says this will not start in leaps and bounds, but rather small steps, process by process, that emphasize unity.
To call for unity and make sure that our fans come back to support their club. Secondly, we are recruiting new members and consolidating what we had before. Most important is unity. Secondly, we are looking at making Villa a big brand again.
Ginger Sports Club Villa fans elected new office bearers with Rachel Kalulu as head and include Palisa RDC, Diksoka Majid.
I hope that 2022. Njaba very
Misaga also welcomed several fans and advised the Ginger branch hierarchy on how to address several issues to help boost the club. While improving the fan base and also advising on their discipline, Misaga revealed that 4 players are in line to join the club during this transfer window to boost the sporting arm of the franchise. Currently, Sports Club Villa is lowly placed in the league and isn't anywhere close to winning another league crown since its last in 2004 that earned the club a record 16th. John Barnes, Centum, reporting.
The Federation of Motorsport Clubs of Uganda officials have benefited from a safety training workshop. Hosted at Victoria University in Kampala, the workshop attracted 60 participants that speak well of it.
Rally sport in Uganda has over the years generated so much interest, met with quality competition that has also in turn attracted fans. This has created a double-edged sword for organizers because increased numbers have created a big challenge as they try to ensure security and safety. For Uganda, there have been many fatalities at rally events and is the reason Federation of Motorsport Clubs of Uganda has organized a high-level safety and security workshop tutored by international officials.
Basically, for us as motorsport people, spectator safety is very important to us, but also the safety of the officials and the competitors. So for us, any knowledge that is added upon our people is part of our agenda to build capacity.
Federation of International Automobile Association Safety Delegate William Lowe believes that this will benefit Uganda ahead of the Pearl of Africa rally due in May.
As I said previously, Uganda is blessed with having an incredible following and an incredible fan base, but we have to remember with each blessing comes a responsibility. So our fans need to accept their responsibility in the safety of events by adhering to marshals, staying in safe places, not being in the roads, in the stages.
The Ugandan participants and from almost all clubs appreciate benefits they plan to put to good use.
Like in any profession, you have to keep in touch with any new elements of the sport.
Almost for most of the time I've spent in motorsport. This is the best time I've really enjoyed myself attending this training. It has really opened up my eyes, especially the department I work in, the audit department.
The Uganda Rally calendar starts on 21st January with the Rukari Lekemburu Mbarara Rally that has entered 35 crews including reigning champion Duncan Mobiru and newlywed Ponsiano Lwakataka. John Barnes, Centum, reporting.
Centamo brings our lunchtime bulletin to the end today. We thank you so much for watching. That is all we had for you as we start the week. But more news will be on your way. Newsroom is at work. We'll have Kiswahili, Luganda, and in English this very evening. Keep it UBC TV. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye-bye.